Hi everyone, happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. I am here recovering, I'm going to be honest. It was a really busy day yesterday for many great reasons. Just my heart's so full, so grateful for the things I get to do, and had a corporate retreat with a Shift Now, which is kind of my collective coaching collective with two other amazing coaches, where we just really want to equip everyday leaders here in Cayman to be the people they're called to be and be the leaders they're called to be. So great retreat with that. Then I had the No Flaw class, which, if you haven't been hearing by now, I've been really focusing this month on helping particularly women move past this feeling of not feeling enough, of feeling shame, of feeling flawed. And it was just such a beautiful time because we got to really dive deep. Women really shared where they struggle to feel like enough, where they struggle to feel flawed, or that they do or have or are enough, where we have felt shame in our lives and where we may currently feel shame, and just really it was a really sweet space to just know that you're not alone. And we were able to really encourage and affirm each other. And then what we did in that is that we created affirmations and beautiful essential oil blends. I'm going to show you. Oops. Look at these beautiful babies around that. And I'll talk a little bit about this, but definitely going to talk about these more in the masterclass. Blends such as releasing your fears or bye baggage, on my own path, soothe my soul, I am fabulous, I love myself, momentum, manifestors blends, all about healing, inspiration, empowerment, letting go, and abundance, all these things. So it was beautiful. But one thing we really did talk about, which is what I want to talk about today, is shame resilience. And it's from, if you've read anything around Brené Brown, she's the shame researcher, but she just has a lot of great stuff around something we all struggle with, but we don't want to talk about. And that's where she even says that's where shame has its power, is that when we don't speak about it, we let it win. And she kind of just defines shame. I'm going to get it for you. You can... Sorry, I wish I was more prepared for this. I am. She defines shame as... I really love her definition, that's why I don't want to mess it up. Shame is being an intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging. Something we've experienced and or failed to do makes us unworthy of connection. And just at the core of it, we all want to feel loved, valued, belong, and that we are connected. But what shame does, it breaks that. We don't feel valued. We don't feel like enough. We don't feel like we belong. We don't feel connected. And in many ways, we are shamed. And I even gave this example. What do we say to people when they do something wrong? Shame on you. Wrong thing to say. It's really destructive. And it puts a thought on people's minds that they should be ashamed for what they've done. And there's a difference between shame and guilt, and I love how Brené talks about it. But basically, guilt is really linked to what we do, and shame is who we are. So when we feel guilt about something, like I feel guilty for what I've done. Shame is like, I feel guilty for, it's somehow reflecting on who I am, right? And so basically, the 4 tips I wanted to share with you were kind of Brené Brown's tips in Daring Greatly around shame resilience. How do we really fight shame? And she kind of gives 4 different steps or 4 different questions to ask yourself. And the first one is recognizing shame and understanding its triggers. And so in the class too, we did last night, and I'm also doing Monday online if you didn't join us. She really just kind of says, what triggers us to feel shame? And for many of us, it's different. It might be a comment someone says, a certain situation, looking in the mirror, all these different things. But really asking yourself what triggers that feeling of shame, because then you're going to recognize how you can shift it. And that's with any habit, is really recognizing the trigger or the cue. Then practicing critical awareness is the second step. Just asking yourself, what expectations are behind this? So for example, if I look in the mirror and the trigger is my thighs are sticking out, whatever, say that's it, what it is. What expectations are driving that? All right, well, people are going to think that this happens, right? And people are going to think I need to lose weight, whatever. That's actually the expectations that I have for myself, right? Hi, whoever joined. Yeah, and if you're watching the replay, feel free to say hello and comment and interact with me. And then the third step is, how can you reaching out? how can you reach out to people and share your story? And so that's what I've been doing all month, is just sharing my story in places that I've had shame before, but also that I'm currently experiencing shame or working through. And then the fourth thing is speaking that this is actually something that I was ashamed in, or I feel shamed in, and this is the support I need, right? And then it loses its power. I remember when I was reading this chapter, I reached out to a friend, Katie McCarthy, because she's all about braveness, and Brene Brown. I was reading this chapter, I'm like, Katie, I'm undone. I need to talk to you, because this is just so raw and real. Like, my heart was breaking for myself, but because I know many people struggle with this, and we don't want to talk about it, but then it has its power. We need to talk about it. And so I really encourage you, I'm going to ask you 4 questions around those things to really help you work and become shame resilient. And I definitely recommend reading the book, but I'm also going to recommend you join us for this powerful moment in class where we can really talk about it together. Then we create affirmations or positive statements that affirm something to be true. I'm going to give you a step-by-step process on how to create one. And then you're going to get the essential oil blend recipes online. We're not going to be with each other, but I'm going to give you all the tools to go and make them yourselves. But the first question is, what's the trigger for you of shame in one particular area of your life? So if it's in your health, your relationships, your career, your finances, what is it? What is that trigger? So think about one area that you've struggled with shame in the past, or currently struggle with it, and what is the trigger? Then ask yourself the second thing, what expectations are driving that shame, right? Then the third thing, how can you reach out to others when that shame trigger pops up? Or how can you somehow say, I can't handle this alone, or I need to somehow do something. So if it's prayer, maybe that's where you reach out to God to really help you, right? And then the fourth thing is, what do I really need to do to combat that shame when it pops up? And so that's where the affirmations come in. That's where the essential oil blends come in. That's where having a coach that comes in. All these different things, having people in your life. And we need to become shame resilient, because shame is, if you go around looking, and I love how Brene Brown says, if you go around looking for reasons not to belong, if you go around looking for reasons to be ashamed, you will find them. Because as much as we want to say our world is nice, it is not nice. We shame people all the time and we don't know. And I have too. And I have had to confess to God, like, I am sorry for the ways that I've shamed people in my heart or my mind, and verbally, or in front of their face, or behind the back. Like, where it's just we have a culture of shame, and we need to shift to being a culture of acceptance. Now, not acceptance at the point that we allow injustice to happen or wrong things to happen, but acceptance in the sense there's more grace in our culture. And so, again, just really go through those four questions. What's your trigger of shame in one area? What expectations are driving that shame? How can you reach out to others when that trigger pops up? And what do you really need to do to combat that shame? And I would love to invite you to, there's 2 things happening. A masterclass on Monday where I'm going to do the online version of what I did last night. We're going to go through all of this, have a safe space to talk about it, then create affirmations and talk through how oils can help in that process. But then I also have a 6-month program that is, the registration is officially opening Monday as well, called Flawed to Flourishing. Really about shifting from not feeling like we're enough in not just one area, but every areas of our life, to really feeling like enough and being enough. So sometimes that means we have to make changes. So I want to work on your mindset around food, your body, and yourself. I want to work around your mindset around finances. But mindset and thoughts are a part of it. Emotions are a part of it, but we need to also shift our habits. So this program is really about shifting our thoughts, emotions, and habits so that we could have this flourishing, abundant, accepting, and graceful life that we want. And really this program is 6 months for a reason, because it takes a while to really go through this, and in a safe space with 6 to 8 women. And we're going to have a group training session around different topics, either led by me or a guest expert. And we're going to have a group coaching call. We'll have a one-on-one call with me, and there's going to be accountability partners. There's going to be resources and a private group to always just have a safe space to really dive deep. And so do not miss out on this. This is a topic that we all feel, we all experience, and we're all like, it's okay. No, it's not okay. And if you need some help in processing one area, it can be one area, even though we're going to go through multiple, maybe you focus on one the whole 6 months. Really, I'm going to really take at the beginning of the program and saying, where do you guys need to work? I mean, we can go through all these different areas, but if you guys need help with 3, that's what we're going to go through. Right? It's not about what I want. It's about serving you guys. And so the early bird price will be around for a week. It's $250 CI or $299 per month. And that's a good, I don't usually harp on myself, but like that's a good value for getting 2 group sessions, accountability, resources, and a one-on-one call. And then the price will go up by like $100 afterwards. And there are some spots kind of already taken. So if you guys really want it, you can join the waitlist, or you could just book a call with me from now, and let's just see if the program's a good fit for you, and see if it's something that will really serve you in this season. And so that's it from me. Thanks for watching if you've stayed this long, and let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to put the link to both the class and the program, and you can just reach out if you have any questions. Okay, have a great weekend, and I'm going to go release my fears and roll on this beautiful roller. Bye.